Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Woman Radio. I'm your host, Tammy Trayer, and today I thought I would do a little episode here on the homestead. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, behind me, you can see the heavy smoke. Typically, you can see our beautiful view and our mountain range in front of us, and right now, all you see is smoke. So, it is that season. It's early, really. It's been really early. We've had such dry weather, and there have been fires for the whole month of June all over the Pacific Northwest. So it's pretty alarming. The snow left the mountains very early this year. Typically the snow's on the top of these mountains until July, end of July, and typically have a wetter spring, but it's really dry, and it's a huge threat out here in the Pacific Northwest, but many of you are dealing with things in other locations: flooding, large hail, tornadoes, earthquakes. It's been quite something. So I want to just show you something here while I'm out, and then we're going to go inside where the air quality is a little better. But I just wanted to share with you here my dinner. I am making stuffed peppers today in my All-American Sun Oven. And for those of you that are not familiar with the All-American Sun Oven, it is a great item to have in your preps and on your homestead for multiple reasons. It enables you to truly cook all year long, cook and bake using the sun. It's a free resource. Additionally, for right now, it is a tremendous blessing because we cannot have a fire. We cannot do a Dutch oven meal this time of year. It's very unsafe. So cooking in the sun oven is what I enjoy doing, and I do just that very often. I cook, I bake. You can dehydrate, you can boil, you can pasteurize in the sun ovens. And if you're not familiar with them, we have joined forces with All-American Sun Oven, and they are offering a free webinar to help educate people on how to use the sun ovens, and they are also offering a fabulous discount on their product. But if you would just like to learn, it is free to you. You can go to trayerwilderness.com/sunoven-webinar. We're going to go inside now, and I am going to chat with you guys today. Typically, I'm out in the woods and I'm walking, and we did that this morning, and forgive me, but I wanted to enjoy the moment. It was just a beautiful morning, and I wanted to enjoy the quiet of the morning and just the blessing of being out there. So I decided to do something a little different with you all today, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to sit in here, and we're going to talk about our current events and what you can do for you and your family. Okay, so for those of you that are joining on YouTube, I'm sitting here in my tiny home, and I am very comfortable. I have the windows closed. It is extremely hot outside. Not only is it smoky, but we have been experiencing extreme heat. Several days it was over 120 degrees in the sun on our thermometer. So it's been pretty crazy. Very hot, very dry. But I do have the windows closed, and I am using something called a swamp box, and they are super efficient. The particular units that I have, which I will share in the show notes, and you can find that by going to trayerwilderness.com/podcast-231. They are fantastic units. You put water in the top of the unit and you turn it on. It works very similar to a diffuser. It's putting moisture in the air along with cooler air, and it only pulls 4 watts. So in our off-grid, very minimal off-grid with solar power situation, it works wonders, and the house is staying really nice and cool. Now keep in mind, I have 2 units running in an area of 180 square feet. So it's a small room, it's a small house, and we are able to keep things relatively cool in here. We also have blinds that are the darkening and keep the heat out, heat blocking. So we have those closed. We rotate our curtains throughout the day so it doesn't look like we are living in a cave, but it does keep the heat out. And that's really important this time of year. Staying and surviving this heat in a healthy way is really important. And I just want to remind you guys of that, to be sure that you are drinking lots of water and fluids, and that you are being sure not to be in the sun and in the heat too long. Heat strokes are possible this time of year, and there's a lot of odd weather, which we're going to talk about. But before I forget to mention it, we did do our drawing on July 1st for the Millie Copper giveaway. We did the podcast and introduced Millie to you guys, some of you that hadn't been familiar with Millie, and we were offering the giveaway of her brand new box set of her Havoc in Wyoming. It is a 10-book set, and she was giving away 2 of those to our listeners. So we drew the names, and we had Kat T, and Sue D was the other winner. You should have received emails, but I really appreciate you guys all joining in and joining us, and I hope that you all took part in the $1.99 offer to purchase the ebooks on Amazon when we were live and broadcasting, because it is such a tremendous set. And quite honestly, when it comes down to talking about our current events, and for those of you that aren't sure, where to begin and what to do for your family, reading Millie Copper's books will spur a lot of thoughts and get you thinking in the right direction. So if you haven't purchased them, you can go to TrayerWilderness.com/Millie Copper. It's MILLIE COPPER. And they are fabulous. She is an amazing writer, and I highly recommend that everybody read her books, including children, because they are cozy apocalyptic books, but it helps kids to understand. They're clean, and it helps kids to understand and have the right mindset too. As you all know that have been following us for a long time, the Mountain Boy was trained up in all that we know: starting fires, shooting guns, learning how to archery hunt, all those things. He knows how to do. He knows how to butcher. He knows how to can. He knows how to garden. There's reason for that. And it's important to pass these skills down to our children. So I'm sure many of you are feeling the pressures of our current times. 2020 was bad enough with a lot of uncertainty, but there's a lot of happenings going on all over the world, not just in the United States. You're seeing drastic weather. I mean, New York right now, part of their subway is flooded. Part of New York is flooded. There are people using ski-doos going down their main streets. It's pretty something. There's hail the size of softballs all over the United States and all over the country. 6 hours ago, Poland was getting hit. I think it was Japan that had a tornado. There's tsunamis, there's earthquakes, there's flooding, there's just so much happening. And then we are in the drought, wildfires. There's a lot going on. And there's a lot of other things going on. There's threats of shortages in gas. There's threats of shortages in food. And I'm hoping that with what happened in 2020, many of you are already and have already changed your mindset. We've been preaching preparedness and the importance of preparing ahead, and the importance of faith-led preparedness for 11 years, going on 12. And a lot of people thought we were nuts and, didn't understand our view on things. But our view is not doom and gloom. It's not negative. It's not it's not just prep and stock up. it's a life of preparing forward and knowing the skills necessary to continue going forward if the grid goes down, if there isn't fuel, all those things. It's very overwhelming when you're in these situations and you haven't thought of all these things. It can even be overwhelming if you have. But what I want to remind you today is that there isn't much that's going on right now that we can control. Therefore, if you followed me for any length of time, you know that if it's something that I can't control, I don't waste a lot of thought on it. I focus on the positive, and some people have told me that I live a life wearing pink shady glasses, but it has served us well. And my husband lives life the same way. We pay attention to our surroundings. We pay attention to the happenings in our world and around the country so that we are in the know. But we don't sit and fret and be fearful and worried and lose sleep and are anxious. All those things are from the enemy. Like I said, we know. We are in the know. We are paying attention, so we have the knowledge we need, so we know how to proceed. We also know what's going on, so we know how to pray and ask God for wisdom and guidance and knowledge and direction. And guys, I want to encourage you guys today to do the same. Many people are in situations where they don't have funding to stock up on anything more than what they already have. God knows your circumstances, okay? God will take care of you. If any of you have been following me for any length of time, you know that we walked through a very hard financial time too. And we went 6.5 months without an income while I was flat on my back after surgery. And because of our lifestyle, we were able to eat like kings and queens and never went without, and were able to bless others during that time. And not only during that time, but moving forward as we progressed through that financial struggle. It was a 6-year journey. It was trying, but we never lost sight of God in that situation. We never lost sight of our faith and our hope in Him and our trust in Him. So when you are able to put things at the feet of Jesus and you're able to trust and know that He will take care of you, that certainly lightens the load. And that's why I want to talk to you about this today, because I know many of you are feeling the weights of and concerns of all that's happening in our country. There could be gas shortages. There could be food shortages. With all this weather and all the oddities and the things that are going on, it is very, very likely that there are going to be shortages in food come fall. Food for your animals too, possibly. So it's not something that we should be panicking over or freaking out over. Whatever you do right now to prepare forward, and whatever you stock up on right now, is going to be an investment in your future. If nothing happens, then you've got stock that you can work through, and you don't have to purchase anything for a while. But if something does happen, you have plenty. And again, for those of you that do not have or are unable to do anything further and stock up any better than where you are right now, God knows your situation. Seek Him, call on Him, build that relationship with Him, and keep praying for wisdom, knowledge, guidance, direction. He will not forsake you. He will not leave you. He will hold your right hand. Because I shared on Thursday on my live video on YouTube, the importance of stocking up right now. And I did mention things that if you couldn't, God would meet you. But I really want to punctuate that today because, in those moments, that's where panic and anxiety and the enemy just seeps in, because he knows that you are feeling like you're in a place of lack or you're unable. And, we know that feeling well, but at no time during those 6 years did we ever go without anything. We always had everything we needed when we needed it, okay? I want to just encourage you to be strong in your faith, regardless what side of this you're on, whether you are, able or unable to do things right now, our faith and our hope and our trust in God is going to carry us through. The other thing that's going to carry us through is bringing him in to these situations. God has been removed from everything all over the world. The United States has been removing God from everything. We need to call him back in, and we need to want him in the center and in the forefront of everything that's happening. But we need to trust that he's going to take care of things. And, a lot of people will say, well, how can there be a God if he lets things happen? Well, we all have free will, and through our free will, we've allowed things to be removed. We've allowed him to be removed. We've allowed people to be put in positions that they shouldn't have been. But we have the ability to call him into these situations. God doesn't want bad things to happen. They just do. We live in an evil and broken world, and the enemy is little g of this planet. God needs to be called into this so that he can reign over these situations. And that's what we need to do. And I just want to remind you that, guys, we have great power in the name of Jesus Christ. We have great power being children of God. And we need to remember that. And, there's a lot of scared and worried and hurting people all over the world. And by sharing our strength and our faith in God and seeing him reign and seeing him working the miracles. I don't know how many of you that are listening to Mountain Women Radio join me on my live videos or in our community, but it has been amazing to see how God has been answering prayers within our community and what God has been doing. It has been tremendous. And it's an amazing thing when you can surround yourself with wholesome, faith-led individuals that have like minds, because it's just a very powerful place. We have a community that is lifting and loving and inspiring and encouraging and supporting one another. And there's never anything negative being said. The enemy has no power in our community because we are so strong in Jesus, and I love it. So if you have not been joining us on my YouTube live videos or in our community, I want to encourage you to. You can go to TryOurWilderness.com/YouTube and subscribe to our channel. And you can join us in our community by going to TryOurWilderness.com/community. If you are looking for a stronger relationship with Jesus, you can join our Bible study. It's every Thursday evening at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. And you can do so by going to TryOurWilderness.com/Bible Study Book Club. We also have a kids corner that gathers every Friday at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. And we have kids that are from all over the world. There's some children that have signed up from Africa, and we are really trying to build that community as well. I am reading the book Lost on Hope Island by Patricia Harmon. You heard me interview Patricia a couple weeks ago. She's a fabulous author, a fabulous lady and friend, and her books are a really great book for the children because it helps inspire preparedness minds as well. And just a lot of different thinking, very positive, very faith-led thinking. So it's a great time, and it's a great place for them to gather and have a wholesome place, and also to be able to meet kids their age from all over the world. And if you have children that you would like to join, they can go to TryOurWilderness.com/kidscorner and sign up. It's free, and so is our community. And it gives them an opportunity to be a part of something, and we will be teaching them all kinds of things moving forward. But guys, I want you to think out of the box right now, and I want you to think about all the things that you were lacking in 2020 and the things that you realized that you should have maybe had on hand. Toilet paper is a perfect example. but it goes way beyond toilet paper. You know, you've got your food, you've got your hygiene products, you've got your soaps and laundry soaps, soaps for all over the home, cleaning products, dog food. The other thing is, in thinking of all these things, you've got to think of the things that we take for granted and the things that we do use, but maybe not as often in our homes. Duct tape, zip ties, Gorilla Glue, extra socks, extra underwear. If your shoes are wearing out, shoes, you know, you never know, because right now what's happening is, because as a result of 2020, a lot of things are unavailable. Just for example, cars, new cars are not available because the chips that were being used in the cars couldn't be transported from China to the United States to complete the process of manufacturing cars. Other things haven't been able to be manufactured because of either lack of raw materials or because of shortages in employees and processing times and so forth. So, you know, all kinds of shortages are starting to appear. Delays in being able to get things. I needed to get a fuel filter for our generator. It would have taken 10 days. It did take 10 days. But it's because they can't even get things shipped and delivered on time. There is such, and the other sad thing is it's hard to find employees. People were laid off and they're collecting unemployment, and now they're making more money that way, and they're not wanting to go back to work. It's a really sad state of affairs. But we have control of a lot for ourselves. We may not have control of Mother Nature. We may not have control of maybe some of the things the president's doing and some of the shortages in food and fuel. We can't control those things, but we can control a lot for ourselves. First and foremost, our mindset, how we are thinking about things, the state of mind we are in. We should not be in a fearful place. We've got to stay out of that place. That's where the enemy wants us. That's where a lot of other people want us. We need to be in a strong place where our feet are planted on a firm foundation, and that our mind is right, and that we are thinking clearly, and that we are seeking God for everything, and that He is directing us. We can purchase things for ourselves and set ourselves up in the event that things go awry. I would highly recommend filling your gas cans, getting fuel additive so that you have, if you need to keep the fuel on hand for a while, that you can keep it in a good state. Stocking up on all the things you need for your vehicles. Stocking up for the things in your shop, the things that you use but not on a regular basis. Oil, bar oil for your chainsaw, an extra chain, gas, fuel, diesel, duct tape, zip ties. I want you to think out of the box. I want you to think about if food wasn't available, how would you secure your food? Do you have a creek or a river near you that you could be fishing? Is there game available? You know, all of you that follow us for a long time know that we secure our own meats. We very rarely purchase meat. So we are hunting elk and mule deer, moose when the opportunity arises, venison, fish, turkey, grouse. We're constantly expanding on our thinking and on what is available to us and what we need to do for our family to survive any given situation. We've lived that way for 12 years. And it has served us well. And it is important that we have that mindset and that we are thinking of those things. Having extra water on hand, having a generator on hand. I want you to think of all the things you need. And the best way to do that is to think about if the power went out for, say, 2 weeks at a time. What would you need to exist? How would you do it? Because typically when the power goes out, so does your water supply. So does your ability to flush a toilet in some cases. So I want you to just think out of the box, and I want you to be prepared for anything that could come our way. This is not a doom and gloom podcast. This is a please open your eyes and just think out of the box. Prepare for the worst, but be ready for the best, okay? It's very heavy on my heart. We're seeing all the things that are happening just like you are, and we just want to share that with you. You know, with the wildfires and the different acts of Mother Nature, for those of you that are in an area where there's wildfires and you've never lived that way before, go to TrayerWilderness.com/wildfires and you can read the blog post that I put out there on how we prepared several years ago when we were in imminent danger of a fire that was traveling very fast and there was heavy winds. Thankfully, we didn't need to worry about it. It was contained, but right now there's fires all over the place. But there's acts of nature. Mother Nature is just really running rampant. So just be prepared and think of all the things that you were missing in 2020 and make sure you have them now. And just think of all the little things and all the little things we take for granted. And just start adding extra things to your shopping list. Like I said, whatever you do now is not a waste. It's an investment into your future. That even if nothing were to occur moving forward and that things don't get hard to come by, you will be able to live out of your reserves and you'll still be in a really good place. So, like I said, this is not meant to be a doom and gloom, but I do want you to be prepared. A lot of people went different ways when things got overwhelming in 2020, and I'm sure they're doing the same now, in that you hit a point where you just don't care what's going on in the world because it becomes so depressing and so saddening. But at the same time, if you aren't aware of what's happening, you can't prepare for it. So ingest it in small bite-sized pieces, but keep your head above water so that you know what's happening, and just pay attention to your surroundings and the things that are happening in the country. Find good news sources. In the show notes this week, I'm going to include some of the news sources that we frequent. We do not have TV. We do not have really good radio out here. So we seek our information from proven sources. And we certainly do not go after mainstream media. So I just wanted to encourage these things today. My heart has been really telling me that it's really important to get this message out there. And just to remind you guys, if you have questions, feel free to email me at any time at survive@TrayerWilderness.com. And you can also, the point of our community is to join the community and ask your questions there. Share the things you have going on in your life. Ask for prayers. You know, it's a very open platform. I don't ever have to say in that platform that it's necessary to be kind and cautious how you speak to others because of the community that has formed there. They're just an amazing, wholehearted group of people, and it's really awesome to see what's happening there. So guys, I just want to encourage you. Be aware, be prepared, but don't get caught up in all the negative emotions that you may be feeling or the heavy weights of what you see happening. Seek God, seek a relationship with Him. Look to Him for answers, because trust me, the greater of a relationship you have with Him and the more you pull into Him, the stronger that relationship will come. He will guide. He will direct you. The Holy Spirit really is strong right now in guiding Christians to make decisions and to do the right things and to be on the right paths. So I can't encourage that enough. And I love you all so very much. I enjoy my time with you. And I even enjoy more being able to meet you in the community and on Instagram and on our YouTube channel. It's been a really awesome time getting to know all of you as you are making your way to different platforms. But have an amazing weekend. Know that our family is praying for our community as a whole. And just do what you can, as you can, and know that what you have will be enough, that God will meet you there. God will also meet you in any preparation needs that you have. Just seek Him, and I promise you, start making that list and He will start adding to it. So, guys, I love you. Treasure you all. We're praying for you, and I will see you on the next episode. You guys take care, and God bless.